Damn, that shit's loud on the outside.
Yeah, but it's so loud.
I don't pay attention because I'm the driver here. These are my good old faithful Power junk injectors. And guess what? It fucking works. I drove it around without the charge pipe. This one right here, because I needed all the couplers. So this shit was just like then when I finally put it on, I don't hear it no more. What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're out here at REDZONERACE, Antioch, California, and we have the red CRX up on a dyno. So I want to run you guys through the setup really quickly. It's not crazy, it's not fancy. It's literally a junkyard GSR block. Made it with a junkyard GSR head that I refreshed. It's got all the maintenance stuff done to it. It's got ARP head studs, a Felpro copper sprayed head gasket. The turbo kit is very simple. It's a log manifold with a MVS 38mm V-band and 57 trim master power turbo. The injectors are DSM 450s, and it's got a fuel delivery system from obviously when the car was all-wheel drive, 390 inline with a -8 front and -6 back. So we're gonna keep it 91 pump today. We're not looking to make a ton of power, guys. We did just make like 2 mild pulls and the car is over boosting, so we spent a little bit of time pulling the plugs out to gap it down to 22. Like I said, we're not making a lot of power, we're not running a lot of boost. And we also took out one of the springs from the wastegate to bring it down from the 15 psi, since we are not trying to boost a lot once again, and we're also running a stock map sensor. So we're gonna let them do their thing, and I'm gonna record a little bit for you guys. Hopefully we end this session soon, since we are keeping it very simple today, and then we still got a journey back home. So we are buttoned up here on the dyno, guys. We are unstrapped and I am elevated right now because we were leaking a little bit of oil right there, and I noticed that the pan has a slight little crack on it, but it was also leaking from the return line. I just buttoned it up and I'm up here now just looking at the graph. This is the final number of what the car put down today. The number is a little inconsistent only because we started having a lot of boost drop off, and we took the wastegate off, we swapped springs around, stuff like that. So the first spring we were doing it about, I think we were like 8 or something like that, and then it would drop off to about 4 or 5, and then that explains the curve right there. And we decided that maybe the spring might be too light, so we pulled the gate off, we swapped the spring to a stiffer spring, and the spring was doing about 10.8. Although I'm running a stock map sensor, it was only reading 10.3. It was kind of like sketch to try to tune something that the map sensor couldn't read, 10.8. So we had a couple decent pulls at about, you know, 10.2 ish, right? So we made 247, 243. We were in the mid 240s, and then just out of nowhere it started dropping again. So we were going from like 10 to 8 to 7 to 6 to 7, and you know, that's why the numbers are like 230, 220, 230, so on and so forth. It is safe to drive. AFR is spot on across the board, and we're only really worried about wide open throttle up top, not that little mid-range. You know, it kind of fall out of boost a slight second and then it comes back in. So it is good to drive on, so we're just gonna leave it there. We're off the wastegate, there's no boost controller, stock GSR head studs, and a small turbo kit on a log setup. So Gaith is working on the customer's car outside, so we're just waiting for him to bring me back down. Probably gonna take it for a test drive, and then we're gonna head home. Damn, that thing takes off. All right, guys, so we are back home. I actually just woke up because you guys saw I woke up super early this morning. I took a 3-hour nap, and we forgot to close out this video. So I want to give a big shout out to Gaith and Jeremy for getting up pretty early in the morning to situate my tune and getting that all out of the way. I had about 80 miles to drive home, and the car drives so smooth. The car is so quiet, and it's very responsive with this turbo. Now, I've always had like slightly bigger turbos, but this one, a little 57 trim. The last time I had a turbo that size was my first setup in my EF sedan, and that was like 14 wow, that's 12 years ago. And this thing is so responsive. Like, you hit the gas, it just goes. But it's funny that every time I drive like any one of my turbo cars on the street, on the freeway, I never come across anybody. Like, the whole entire trip coming home, I only saw an FRS, a Miata, he gave me a thumbs up, and one Mustang, but that was it. Like, nobody to have fun with on the freeway. It's crazy. But when I drive the van, everybody's out and about. I didn't really get into like full boost or full RPM pulls or anything like that. I just kind of like passing traffic and stuff, and this thing is, it feels so fun to drive. The Max Peding Raw suspension, man, it rides really well. This is the Max Peding SP1 coilover, and I do have the suspension on full stiff. Riding on a nice surface, it's comfortable. But when it hits a bump, it's like boop, it's stiff. It's stiff like this car, which is good for racing, I guess you could say. But the ride was really nice, and the car made it home safe and sound. No overheating whatsoever, no smoking, no nada. And on the way home, I decided to detour to my buddy Tony's house. I forgot that he had an air box for the HF model. If you guys don't know, the HF model intake system is very tiny. If you look at this is like maybe 2 inches, really small. So I stopped by Tony's house. He gave me a good deal on this intake box, and arm has a K&N filter in it, and this right here is going to go into La Panda. Yes, La Panda is still here. A lot of you guys have been asking me about how much am I asking for the car. I've talked about it on Instagram. I posted in the community. I said it in the video how much I'm asking for La Panda, and the quickest way to get at me is through Instagram, and yet people are still asking questions. Now, the last video I made of La Panda, that was the only time I put the car for sale, and that was only on Instagram story. I didn't post it on Facebook, OfferUp, Craigslist. I didn't really push the sale at all. That's why the car is still here. For those that were interested in La Panda, that were trying to come and get the car at a set price or what you guys were willing to offer me, when the car went up for sale, crickets. I had a couple local people that wanted the car, and then they flaked on me on Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Who doesn't like flakers, right? But La Panda is still here, and I think I'm gonna post it up tonight. I'm gonna do a couple more things like paint the valve cover, which has always been on the list to do. And now obviously we have the intake box. We're gonna toss that in the car. Well, you know what, let's just do it right now, because we're here blabbing on about none. Let's just put this air box in La Panda. As I was talking to Tony, his dad was also there with him working on the car, and he told me that his buddy is actually interested in an HF CRX because he had one back in the days and he missed the MPG. I gave him my information, and hopefully maybe we get the car sold before I even post it up for sale. But pretty simple here, guys. Intake box, got these specific 10 mil right here. These are specific to the intake air box, and they're like a little long 25-ish millimeter 10 mil bolt with this fat washer. And on the intake box itself, there's 3 of them. 1, 2, and 3. Pretty straightforward, right? 1, 2, and 3. So this goes on. You can see how small that thing is right there, and good thing is we still have this tube here, so that goes right into that. And let me go find 2 more of these because I only have 1. And there it is. La Panda has an airbox. I'm probably gonna do that a different day because I don't have any Ringo black paint. So that's gonna wrap it up for today's video, guys. We have the red CRX tuned, and we have an intake box for La Panda. Now, the next step for that car is to flip it around here on the driveway and do all of the all-wheel drive conversion. We took all the wagon stuff out, and we're gonna be putting the CRV Freelander stuff back in, and that stuff is a whole different setup. So that means we need to make all new mounting points for that. So once we get the CRX off the driveway, that's the next step for that car. We're still waiting for all the red tags for the 24 here so we can put it back together and stuff it into the KRX. So hopefully that is what's coming up next. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, be sure to leave this video a thumbs up. And if you guys want to stick around for some KRX action, KRX content, KRX update, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.